Previously on Balls.
And congratulations. Through to another final.
Another one.
It seems like you like the even numbers, Plum, 8, 10 and now 12. One more step to go against a side that hasn't won in what would be 12 years if they don't win this weekend.
Yeah, I know, and that's what's going to make it so interesting, isn't it? I mean, they're going to be pretty desperate to get one, so we know how tough it's going to be up here.
Yeah, I think in that last 5 minutes, I don't know, you obviously watched the other game, maybe you didn't, but in the last 5 minutes of that game, you must have felt like the Bulls felt last week where they didn't know if they were going to prepare to go to EP or play against you guys. You didn't know who you were going to be playing in that last 5 minutes.
Yeah, look, I mean, you know, I thought the Lions would have closed it out, but, you know, good on Western Province. You know, they had one opportunity to nail it, and then and they did, you know, so I guess the Lions weren't really expecting them to drive that length, so good on them.
Are you expecting, I mean, they used that rolling maul pretty effectively against the Lions. It obviously got them the win in the end as well. Are you expecting to see more of that from them this weekend?
Oh, look, I'm sure it's a big part of their armoury. So, yeah, we'll be preparing for that. And, you know, we've been driven all year by, you know, all the different teams in the competition. So we'll be ready for it.
Now, a lot of talk going into the game this weekend, your game against the Bulls, about the weather and the rain in Durban. A lot of people automatically going, well, that'll suit the Bulls a lot better. I don't know, because I don't know how much rain they actually get up here in the winter on the Highveld in Pretoria. You guys have known those conditions, including, I think, a semi-final a couple of years ago where you actually won it at the death in weather like that, in fact, worse weather. So you weren't really perturbed about what the weather was going to be this weekend?
Look, I mean, we'd prefer to have a dry day, and I'm sure Province would as well. I mean, it's just easier to play rugby, and you get a you know, better spectacle. But saying that, I mean, this is a final, and I can remember being involved with the Natal in '96 when we beat Province here in a Currie Cup Final. It was wet, and we had a great crowd out that day to help the boys on there. So I'm just hoping that you know we've done well enough to get a final in Durban. It's something we shouldn't take for granted. As you say, it only happens every couple of years consistently. So we need a good crowd out here to help us. You know, we need. It's going to be a big event, and you know we want people out here supporting us.
Yeah, well, hopefully it will be a full house this weekend. 350 for adults, 170 for scholar benches. Tickets are open now, as you've been telling the folks. So get down there and get your black and white on, and make it a Saturday blackout again for the Sharks. Everybody come through the semis okay? Are you concerned about any of your staff?
Look, we're all good. Darren, you know, the boys are all happy. We've kept them light today. We did a little bit of work on our lineup, but we've just, you know, boys just had a little bit of conditioning, but nothing serious. Just rested up, getting massages, and big day tomorrow with our prep.
So no concussion issues with Yanni or with Anton, no?
Yeah, that was quite a head clash, but both players are feeling really good. We'll obviously just monitor them both during the week, but nothing we're overly concerned about.
I want to ask you, and I think there kind of happen opportunities in both games. When you're playing in a semi or a final, and you sit up there in the box as a coach, and the guys get advantage straight in front of the poles. And it's almost like you want a guy to deliberately knock it on or do something and take the points, because in both games there were opportunities where the side decided to start spreading it wide. It went through about another 4, 5 or 6 phases. And fortunately, I think for the Sharks, at the end there, you guys went over. But there were other opportunities where could have gone for poles with the advantage there. Do you, as a coach, to talk to the side and say, listen, in a semi or a final, we're not going for bonus points here. If you get a penalty opportunity, go for the kick at poles, because you might lose that advantage eventually and not score?
Yeah, well, often you don't know if it's scrum advantage or penalty advantage. You know, you might sit there and from the, you know, where obviously you're watching the TV, it might come out penalty advantage on your screen, but we don't. At times, you know, we think, oh, is that penalty or is that scrum advantage? But in weak conditions, it can be advantage to take both. You know, so you know, start fresh from a set piece where you know it's all the forwards in a scrum, and then the backs can have an opportunity to their backs. So, you know, instead of phase play where it's all spread out across the field. But, you know, I don't get too stressed about that. Oh, there's penalty advantage. You know, you're relying on, you know, Keegan and the leaders in the team to say, hey, we'll take that one, so let's just cough it up, you know.
Otherwise, must be very happy with this way the guys played. I mean, everybody, you know, there was watching Twitter while the game was going on, and everyone from Louis all the way through to Pat's performance at number 10, and of course the forwards once again laying a great platform. Must be pretty chuffed about the way things are going, keeping going what was happening in the round robin section.
Yeah, look, I mean, it was, I thought it was a reasonably accurate performance from us in terms of our kicking game, and we struggled a little bit with our line out in the second half, which was a little bit disappointing. But our scrum operated well, our breakdown we were good, and like I say, all the backs are defending very well, and we didn't get a lot of opportunity to attack, but the territory is a big thing in these conditions, and we certainly dominated most of that, certainly in the first half. Once we got to 12-0, and that's the other thing too, our discipline was really good. We wanted to avoid all of those stupid penalties that we can give away, and that can be the difference.
All right, Plum. Well, I know you've got a lot of work that you guys are busy with this weekend, so we're heading up to this weekend. Wish you guys all the best for the big game on Saturday. Congrats on making another final, and good luck for the final.
Darren, thanks, mate.
All the best. Cheers, Plum. Bye-bye. Bye. There we go. John Plumtree would have done the video analysis and probably worked a lot on those lineouts in particular.
Yeah.
And but pretty much every other aspect seemed to go pretty much according to plan.
One thing I noticed, that surprises me still, is that after such a long season, these guys, especially the Springboks, can come out there and play the kind of rugby that they are playing. I mean, the quality of rugby in those semi-finals, I thought it was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, especially in the wet in Durban, the way they were swinging the ball around and throwing it around, as Plum says. That's why he probably would have. It wouldn't have bothered him because they've done it before in those conditions, and but dry conditions I think suits their game more.
But it would be so easy for the guys to just want to take a back seat. They must be tired and sore after such a long season, and yet I guess it's your job, but still you're only human.
Great commitment, son. Eh?
Sorry?
Thanks,
great commitment as well.
Yes, so you'd expect that, Johnny. It's a semi-final of the Currie Cup.
I love that commitment from people who've been under those kind of circumstances. They just keep going.
And one of the tweets I sent over the weekend during the game was Pat Lambie's performance probably earned him two places further up the bench in Heineke's book. Seriously, it's getting to the point now, if he doesn't pick him.
Well,
Mornay had a great game. So, I mean, on what else do you base it? Seriously. He's got to be there. He will be there, but he's got to actually be. He's got to actually start now. You've got to give him a crack. And the other thing, he hasn't really had that much game time. So we talk about end of year tour and players being fatigued and stuff. Pat's had a good month long rest on the bench with the box, so he should be fresh and ready to go. Yeah. The other one is Louis Ludik.
Yes.
Fabulous game. Played really, really well. And there's in the other semi-final. Yakutata I wasn't quite sure about, but having a look at the way he played, even in a losing effort.
I was really impressed by that number 11. I think it's Ruan Kombrick from the Lions. I think for me, he was definitely the major difference. In
he was very good as well.
He was really good. And
we've got some really good youngsters coming through, which is really
Volvo
cool.
was hell of a good.
Yeah.
Luwazi was great. Nice try at the end there. So there's talent-wise, you've got to get the right combination, get the form guys in as well. And one of those definitely has to be Patrick Lambie starting at 10 now. Much as we love Mornay, at the moment on form, there's just no comparison. And who would you want to put in there? Your Katrakilis?
No. When did I say that?
I'm just checking.
Peter Grant, maybe.
He was famous.
2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mondays to Fridays live on balls.co.za. Balls.co.za.